Joining me this morning is Martin Nyimdam. He's a member of parliament for Pandai, and he's in the studio. Thanks for joining me. Looking very good in his white collar suit. Okay. And somebody who decided to do smock today, combining that with mainstream formal attire, is Adam Mutawakilu. He's a member of parliament for Damango. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have to start with Mahmoud Bawumia. He's a vice presidential candidate of the MPP. He's been raising some serious critical questions in a press conference in which he read out almost like a counter solution to the budget as read by the finance minister to parliament and indeed the whole public, a 63-page document. And in it he challenged certain figures and variables that are being communicated to the public as being the performance of the NDC-led administration in government. We'll have to start with you. What did you make of Bawumia's press conference on Wednesday?
Yeah, Roland, let me say good morning to our most cherished viewers, those who have taken some time off to watch your program. I always say that if somebody is watching your program, you need to thank him because we have a lot. So he's chose to watch your program. So it's good. Then let me say good morning to our flag bearer, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and pray that God gives him 2016. Not forgetting of the good people of Pandai, those who have given you the opportunity to be here as a member of parliament. Roland, I was at a press conference yesterday.
You were?
Yes, seated, monitored, listened. And I will want to say, without any fear of contradiction, that anybody who listened to Alhaji Bawumia yesterday, unless you are a very core NDC man, you will know that the man was on fire. Once again, you will know that anybody who will sit somewhere and say MPP is not prepared for power, the person is joking. Because yesterday, we've proven beyond all reasonable doubts that change is coming, and we are preparing for a change. Now, we've been talking about the performance of NDC in the last 7 years. And yesterday he highlighted on some of them. But this time I wouldn't want to be wallowing in some of their failures, which is news everywhere. Everybody's experiencing it. And I always like what the former president Jerry John Rawlings said, that look, even if he doesn't know GDP, he doesn't know inflation, he doesn't know anything, if he's hungry, he knows he's hungry. So after the pain and agony that this country is going through, it's not news. Everybody is experiencing it. So yesterday he highlighted on the growth of the economy, where they inherited the economy from about 8.4, and then today we are doing projections about 4.1 with oil. We talk about inflation. When they inherited inflation about 18%, today we are talking about 17.8%. They've been able to do for the past 7 years. We talk about the debt stock, where we're talking about 9.5. Today we are talking about 99. About, yeah, is it 9? Yes, 9.9. Yes, I think 99. Yes, sure. If I'm right, I'll look at it. But I think that is it. We are looking about 9.5. They inherited the debt stock. Today we are talking about 99. We've talked about...
you mean Ghana cities?
Yes. We've talked about the resources that they got to themselves for the past 4 or 7 years, where we're talking about 200 billion Ghana cedis. Kufuor administration got about 20. We've talked about their inability to sustain even the social interventions that we left in this country. We talk about non-payment of teacher trainees allowances. We've talked about nursing allowances. We've talked about statutory payments, and all put them together. And we talked about the energy crisis. And for the failures, they are monumental. And for that matter, we've been hammering on it.
I just needed a summary. So
yes,
we'll come to the substance.
Exactly. Now, you needed a summary.
Yes.
I just wanted to take you through.
You've taken me through already.
So should I continue from that?
I'll come and ask you a question.
Thank you.
What do you make of his press conference?
Listen to him. And
I'm sure
it's not anything new. The most fundamental that as an opposition you should be able to provide an alternative.
So you said they were just criticizing for criticizing?
Only criticizing, but he wasn't able to tell Ghanaians.
Are you sure?
No, if we're given the power, this is what we would have done and what we would have done. Two, I realized that he was selecting and choosing what he thinks. He wants to trace some of the figures he didn't understand, or he felt that picking some information was that easy without doing the actual research work.
Oh, he's a man of great caliber.
For example, yesterday there was a publication in the papers, Ghana second most corrupt. He didn't know that it was Afro-Barometer. It wasn't ranking countries. And because the newspaper published it, he just picked it straight.
That was an Afro-Barometer of some 28 countries in Africa.
Yes, and that was questions. One of the questions where we had 76, South Africa had 83, and Nigeria had 75 was that, has corruption, in your own view, increased over the last 12 months? And 76% said yes. In South Africa, 83. In Nigeria, 75. The next question that followed was that, which institutions did you pay bribe? The first thing was schools. Second one was courts, the police, passports. And there was a fifth one. So it was just finding out, not ranking countries.
So you're saying that.
So if you have some little patience to go to the website and get the understanding very well, I don't think yesterday.
But it still doesn't take anything away from you that
and
the ranking said we were.
This is not no. The ranking is the Global Corruption Perception Index that will come, and last year was 63rd. You understand? So you can't pick one question out of a list of questions and use it to rank. It's not for ranking. The second one is that he came to some agric and picked 2008 and compared it with current. But he forgot that in 2007, agric grew by negative. It was negative in 2007. And we all understand because the weather wasn't good. We had some floods during that time. This year, if you go to the north and ask, the timing, that farmer's time last year to farm, it didn't rain during that time. So we depend so much on climate.
We'll come to the agriculture. It's one of the main.
Then the second one is he quoted some car power, 700 million, which we should have bought for $225 million.
That's a lie?
Which is not true.
Okay.
The car power never came up in terms of value. And he quoted ACEP, African Center for Energy Policy. African Center for Energy Policy raised an issue in respect to Amere Energy because it was a BOOT, build, own, operate, and transfer. And they said that the trailers, there were 10, and each of them should cost about $22.5 million multiplied by 10. So it should have been 225. But the way we operate it for 5 years and take over, it will get to 700 million. And we as a committee did a lot of analysis.
So you're saying that all that he said,
he didn't quote it from the rise.
He was not being truthful.
He was not being truthful.
Okay.
And if he wants to look at growth, in the history of Ghana, in 2011 we recorded the highest growth. If you talk of inflation, during their 8 years they were able to bring inflation to single digit within 1 month. And we have been able to do that 33 months.
But now we're way on.
We are 17, which is far less than what they had in 2008.
What was it?
You had 18.
Currently, you have 17.8. You see far less.
Okay, that's
came to
no fight.
single digit.
It's okay.
Far less.
We haven't reached anywhere. The two of you.
Well,
no, this is even prelims. So wait. Now, as far as we're concerned, Mr. Nyimdam, he raised pertinent issues, and going by them, you have to say that at some point he's right. Let's take, for example, the agricultural sector. Indeed, we've had cause to complain as media, based on what we get from the ground, that allocations and investment in agricultural sector have not been very good. And just this year, the targeted growth rate for 2016 has not been the best, or it's not something that we can write home about. Looking at the experiences of 2007, 2008, and even 2009, we should be a lot more empathetic.
You know, I listened to my good friend. He's my very good friend. Anyway.
We're focusing on agriculture now, so it's not a direct just reply.
Oh, I'm not. I will take you through the agri sector small, and I will highlight on some few things. You see, we're talking about average growth. It's true that sometimes, like my friend said, you may not do very well some year, but averagely, a period of time, by the time we left office, agric was doing no less than 7.4, averagely. Okay, these are figures you can go, you can search, and you will get to know. Now, as we speak today, like he said, if you take they are 7 years, almost 8 years now, averagely, they are doing very poor. Okay, and like you rightly said, if you go and look at the budget, 2009, agriculture sector was given about 3.3%. Okay,
that in terms of
exactly annual allocations. As we speak, it is dwindling from 3 to about 1.9, about 1.0, and about 1. So you realize that even commitment to agriculture sector is not there. The amount of money, the allocations that we do to the agri sector, or we allocate to the agri sector, has not been good. Even if you look at the Maputo, we're talking about 6%, but as we speak today, they are doing about 1%. So how do you expect such a sector to grow? And as we speak today, like you rightly said, we are doing 0 at the agriculture sector because it's 0.04%. So invariably, we are doing 0. So when you say that it's because of the weather, unfortunately, fine, the weather might have contributed, but the commitment, where we all say that, look, agric employs about 50 to 60% of the people in this country. That's what we all say. So if you are committed in fighting even employment or generating employment at the agric sector, the allocation should be higher. It should be increasing, but not decreasing. So not surprising that today agric is growing at 0. Okay, so you cannot sit here and say that it's because of the weather. Obviously, that is the easiest way to run to the weather, because it's easy. Everybody will say it's not raining, but that is not it. But he's talked about not providing alternatives. Okay, yesterday, if you listen to Bawumia, he said, look, the responsibility of every government, okay, is to create an environment that is so friendly. And we underline some policies, cogent policies. And I want them to say that what we're saying is not true, because employment has been a serious issue in this country. Graduate unemployment. Yesterday I listened to, is it Kubenu, who is it, the man that was just fired from the JIDA sector. He said, look, over 250,000 graduates passed through him, and less than 15% of them are employed. So Bawumia says that, look, our 2017 budget is going to make huge allocation to fresh graduates and industries. Look, if you employ between 1 to 5%, we're going to give you about 40% tax credit on wages and salaries. If you do more than that, we're going to give you about 60%. Brilliant policy. We tell you that, look, we talk about these young guys who are in the training colleges that unfortunately Mutawakilu, myself, will appreciate what it is to go to training college and get allowance. He knows, I know, and listeners who have gone through that, you know. You came, unfortunately, under oil. You see, sometimes we don't leave oil out of the situation because we've been crying for it. And when you get a plus, let it reflect in your life. So getting oil is an additional advantage. And Mutawakilu, are you not the chairman?
And your side,
I'm the vice chairman.
Vice chairman.
And your side of the political divide,
yes,
seem to be arguing that government has not judiciously used whatever revenues.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. He's the vice chairman. There have been
consistent allocations and itemization.
We are talking about $4 billion accrued to us for the first time. No one has enjoyed that. No. And today, social interventions, cushioning the poor, teacher training allowances, nursing training allowances, professionals, you've cancelled the allowances. We say, look, give us the opportunity and we will restore it back. You say we don't provide alternatives. Look, we talk about You see, for you to develop, run a nation, you need to be business-minded. For you to create opportunities for everybody, you have to be business-minded. Other than that, you won't make it. He says, look, when we come, there are some exemptions that we're going to give. Corporate tax, importation of raw materials, mention them. And we're talking about, look, we are moving from cash to cashless economy, where we don't have to carry cash in your pocket. And for that matter, this VAT that we put on these financial services, we're going to do away with it.
I remember yesterday he said it was disincentive to do
sure. It put our killers away.
So you do concrete analysis of what Dr. Bawumia was saying. Now, particularly also when you just oppose that with the complaints from farmers in the cocoa growing areas that sometimes seasonally the mass cocoa spraying exercise has not been as consistent as it should be, and so we've seen reduction, and even to a target of now 700,000 metric tons of cocoa, for example, a cash crop that we all should be happy about. We've had the Accra Plains project has been on your party manifesto proud to now. And still the commitment is not there. You say that, well, we should give credit to Dr. Bawumia.
Let me first of all analyze some few things. When it comes to teacher trainees allowances, you don't want cheap political points. Teacher training, and I said there was a quota that per the allowance, the teacher training, the total number that can be recruited every year is 9,000, and that has been fixed. However, a lot of people are denied access to the teacher training college because of that quota. Because for the government, it has been there for a long time. We thought that we shouldn't think of, because of the allowances, those who are qualified to go to the teacher training college should be denied. If we take off the allowances, we'll be able to admit more. And as we speak, we admit more than 15,000, an increase of 6,000 beyond the 9,000. Now, I want to just ask a question. If we go back today to the training colleges and said, okay, we want to introduce the allowances. However, we need 6,000 of you
to go home.
So that we continue with the 9,000.
So that's
I'm just putting something
that's
there
and
see who will say, okay, I'll prefer to go home for my colleagues to take. You see, you have to give opportunity to everybody that has qualified to go to the training college.
Is it your plan or our plan?
No.
We are not talking about reducing the
number. You came in power and maintain the 9,000 throughout.
Yeah.
Because
so you're saying you want to
when you increase the numbers, you cannot pay the allowance, and therefore
we've had the Deputy Minister of Education.
Let's peg it at 9,000.
Say that consistently,
so that we can pay the allowance. Meanwhile, you are denying more than 6,000 access to the same.
As a result of that, you scrap the allowances. What about the nurses?
The nurses, they want to expand the intake because we need nurses, we need teachers everywhere. There's either we limit it and pay the allowances,
because you're paying allowances,
and a lot of facilities will be there without nurses and teachers, or we open it up and get more. So it is a matter of.
So what about the allocations that have not been enough, showing that government is not committed to the agricultural sector over the last 3 years, so to speak? Because when it comes to the budget allocations, they're just a fraction, knowing that we're an agrarian-based economy, or we can maximize a lot more revenue.
I don't think so. A lot of interventions are going on, and government commitment to ensure that we have agric promoted to the highest is very critical. And my friend said it's an average. 2008 growth is not an average of the 8 years.
2008 growth was 7.5%.
Yes, it's not an average of the. It's not an average of the 8 years. It's an average of 1 year. What has been done in that year? However, in 2007 they recorded negative, so it is bound to happen. However, when the circumstances change, things will affect. However, we know the petrol revenue, a lot of resources are being pumped into the rehabilitation of irrigation dam to ensure that we have all.
Doesn't reflect in the numbers.
It is there. 16 irrigation dams were done, rehabilitated, to ensure that farmers have access to farming throughout.
But that is not commitment enough, because you look at the quotas.
Yes. We're doing that to ensure that there is continuous farming in most of the regions where we have irrigation dams. 2, we're investing in fertilizer subsidy to ensure that farmers are able to obtain. As to allocation, we all realize that there was huge decline in terms of oil, and as such, they had to slash the budget by 46%, and that has affected a lot. When you come to the oil revenue, if within 5 years we can boast of a gas plant, it's a very big achievement.
How much did the gas plant cost us?
It's about $1 billion in all.
Dollars?
Yes. And the oil money was used as a collateral. And as we speak today, because the repayment of the loan was paid from the oil money, in 5 years today, the project can pay for itself, so it has been taken off. And we think this is not achievable. Meanwhile, what we produce is 5% of what Nigeria produces. 110,000 barrels, and its contribution to GDP.
Now you're complaining it's not enough.
No, the way the expectation, I had a program in Labadi and I said it. The way we bloated the whole thing, as if this year, 2015, we had $227 million for annual budget funding amount. But when they are talking, they take the gross. Meanwhile, some of them goes to the heritage fund. No.
The heritage
because
fund,
when
the
you
infrastructure
take it,
itself.
Infrastructure is what actually is being utilized. We have the stabilization fund, the heritage, and what goes to GMPC. Then we have what is allocated in 2015, 227 million.
That's what went into our office.
Yes.
To spend.
For expenditure. Out of 341. So the way they blow, they just bloat it out of proportion. And I think that it is good, our advice, whatever project we execute the oil money, like they did it during HIPIC, even toilets, you see it HIPIC. I think we need to do that. So that when infrastructure...
But the point is that oil and gas infrastructure is out of the sight of the ordinary people, because you do usually the outskirts of...
No, but what I'm saying that if you use...
Perhaps maybe you can't communicate or publicize.
Some classrooms were put up. But I think they should write on it.
Okay.
Funded by petroleum funds.
But sir, that doesn't take away the argument that as far as agriculture and the other relevant sectors are concerned, the commitment of government, if you overall look at how the variables are at the end of the financial year, what we record, doesn't show the commitment that we need to attach. For example, you look at the allocations at the end of the financial year, despite all the things we're doing about the irrigation dam, we're declining in cocoa production. You go to the communities, the farmers themselves are complaining, and even the commitment to things like the Accra Plains project, the Afram Plains project, etc., have just not been fulfilled.
The Afram Plains project is online. You know, it was tied to the CDB loan.
Well, we know. Even the Accra Plains project was also tied to the
CDB loan.
Yes,
and it has been slashed. The amount has been slashed and brought to Parliament for regularization. And we have passed it. So I know it is in the pipeline, and soon it will be rolled out. Yes. It might delay because of the decline, the reduction in the amount that we're sourcing from China. But it will definitely be rolled out. Certain things might delay, but at the end of the day, but you realize that we've recorded over 1 million tons of cocoa during NDC 2. And the project is ongoing.
That was in 2010, I believe.
Yes.
2010,
yes. We recorded the highest during this regime. Yes.
We're declining. Our target now for the next year is 700,000. Or is it this year, 700,000? And even there are fears that we could go below.
No, it is an estimate. We could go beyond. Even the 1 million, we didn't expect far beyond. We expect.
But Bawumia said sometimes we don't pay the cocoa farmers bonuses.
I think
there's lack of clarity in the distribution of fertilizers to farmers in cocoa growing areas.
I don't think so.
Those are consistent reports, also corroborated by the media.
I think the cocoa price set up last year has been one of the highest.
It's been revised, truly. No. Yes.
It has been one of the highest. Yes. And we are even implementing insurance for farmers, so that in case of adverse weather, they will be compensated. So we're moving forward to insure them, to make sure that they are being protected and cushioned when there is any adverse weather. So we are moving, we are investing, we ensure that we continue to invest. Where there are challenges, we'll let Ghanaians know. We will not come and say, when we come to power,
let me ask you a personal question.
I just wanted to put up something.
When you have Dr. Bawumia giving you all these, giving all these press conferences and sound bites to the media, does it put you under extreme pressure,
No.
especially when you have to communicate and defend government?
It's not defending, it's putting up the truth there.
Okay.
I just said it. Yeah, he went on corruption and said it where he picked it wasn't the right source.
Roland.
He had no study the report very well and picked it out.
So you're correcting it?
Yeah, it wasn't ranking of countries. He went to this car power, which I said is not true. It was Emirates, and the 700 that ASAP quoted, we had 510. Per the analysis.
It's okay, let's come to your area of expertise as well. And a key component of the press conference was the subject of our debt to GDP ratio, which has been the subject of debate, especially from critics of government, many analysts, economists, etc., and the subject of energy as well. The point is, we know why we are in the state in which we are. Why don't we just embrace the way it is and acknowledge that government is doing something about it, instead of consistently criticizing government based on the steps that are being taken?
You see, Roland, I am not surprised if my good friend would say what I even heard Setekpe. He said what Bawumia said is a lie. He used the word lie, and I am very comfortable because this is not the first time they will say what Bawumia is saying. It's not true. You see, sometimes I see somebody live somewhere differently. I remember when they were borrowing, excessive borrowing, Bawumia came out and told them, look, the rate at which you people are borrowing, hey, we will go to IMF for a bailout. What didn't we hear from my good friend Mutawakilu and his brothers? All manner of things came up. Some even said even that doctor, he went to borrow it. At the end of the day, we went to IMF for a bailout. Initially, they said they were going for credibility. Tells you the government itself has lost credibility. They were going for credibility. We said, okay, go for credibility. They went. It turned out that they were going for a bailout. And we are now in IMF. We are now in the Bretton Woods institution. They are now directing our policy. Bawumia made it categorically clear that, look, by 2017, workers will be laid off. They said it is not true, which I know.
The finance minister, if you go to the website of the Bank of Ghana, yes, it's rationalizing the size.
What is the meaning? Yes, I like it.
I don't know your interpretation.
Bawumia said one thing, which I'm so happy
What's on the
about.
website is rationalizing the size.
Thank you. Bawumia said something about it, which I am happy. He said, look, the contract is supposed to be signed by the close of this year. That is December. Okay? But the implementation will take off 2017. And we are saying that if such a policy is so good to help us come out from the mess that we find ourselves, why wait to that time? If that policy is so credible, because we've gone there for credibility, we want to rejuvenate our economy. And for that matter, the document is going to be signed in December, ending December. Why wait implement it after 2016?
What's your guess?
Our guess is as good as theirs, because they cannot implement it. If they do, they lay workers off. There will be propaganda on them. Workers will cry. They won't be able to win the election. So let's wait. Don't lay any worker off. What is the meaning of rationalizing the sector? What is the meaning of that?
But that's the
it
word.
means it's not rational. Or what?
No, in finance, when you say you rationalize,
yes,
you streamline.
Thank you. Which means there are certain things that must be streamlined.
Well, it also means that you have to introduce enterprise support systems, etc. to make sure you get the best.
Between myself and you, okay, I will not sit here and pretend that I know economics, okay, better than Bawumia. I won't do that. You see, for you to say somebody is credible, you would have said 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has come to pass. Then you say the person is credible. Bawumia has proven beyond all reasonable doubt that he's credible when it comes to some of these things. And they will always come and say it is not true. Eventually, it turned out to be true. So you leave that one. Now he talks about the oil proceeds that we receive. I have said it here, that he should say that they are not able to pay the nursing training allowances because they are incapable of doing it. We are capable of doing it. He should not determine whether the numbers will increase or the numbers will not increase. It is not up to them to say that. Okay? I know as a teacher, I have gone to the teacher training, and if he was talking about the number being pegged at 900, 9,000, that's what he said.
It has been
it's
like
okay,
that.
thank you. 9,000.
Yes.
Okay? With that oil, we're managing and we're paying. Okay? We were managing, we're paying. So we could have done better. That one is not an excuse. We say we are going to do. Remember this free secondary education that we talked about? They poo-poo it. They say all manner of things about it. At the end of the day, they say they are going to do free. What is that jargon you people use? Free progressive what? What did you say? I want the jargon. You give me the jargon. Please don't continue. This is my turn. I just if you don't know, it's okay.
When a constitution,
it's okay.
No, I'm just telling you.
It's okay.
When a constitution,
I'm okay with that. It's okay.
States,
I'm okay with that.
State something that you come and borrow it and think that you have.
They are going to do progressive free secondary school education. Initially, they say quality and all those things. Today, they are projecting about 38 Ghana cedi for each student, and not all students. So day students, you are not able to do it. We are capable of doing it. So don't say, what do you think? Now, you ask a very good question. What was your question? Can you please repeat for me so that I take it over from there?
It's a debt to GDP ratio and
Yes.
a subject of how government is dealing with the energy crisis.
You see, you cannot continue to borrow. Borrow just because you are borrowing. Obviously. Bawumia said something yesterday which we all must ask ourselves. Even in the Bible.
You and who?
All of you, you inclusive. Everybody watching inclusive. The Bible even says there is more blessing in giving than in receiving. Don't you believe in that? There's more blessing in giving than in receiving. And for that matter, if you listen to Prof. Mills, may he so rest in peace.
Physically, if you give everything you have, you go broke.
I said the Bible says there's more blessing in giving than in receiving. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say give everything. The Bible doesn't say give everything. They says more blessing in giving than in receiving. So Atamis himself said that look, we won't go cap in hand begging. So that tells you that beggars do not have credibility. And we are saying that look, under the MPP government, come 2017, this IMF bailout that we've gone will be the last. We've done it before. We've taken Ghana out of the Bretton Woods institution before. We are capable of doing it. Today, my friend says that we are writing on toilets, HIPIC, here and there. Ask him whether the HIPIC funds as we speak don't come. They still come. The proceeds are still coming. And they are enjoying it. We got only 3 years. And left. Because it started somewhere 2005. And up to 2008, we exited. And as we speak today, HIPIC funds still come and we use it in our budgets. He received a portion, I received a portion for development. I don't remember he going to write HIPIC funds on some of the things he received. Have you written on the thing that you use the HIPIC funds to do? No, but we are talking about prudent management. That's why we're saying that look, you need to expand your economy. Tax is not the way out. Bawumia have said it. That look, you don't have to continuously impose tax. You need to open up your economy in such a way that the more people grow, the people invest. The more people establish infants industries, cottage industries, and all those things, employment automatically comes and funds automatically come. That is what we seek to do. So it's not about saying that the way they are borrowing. It is not good for us. It's not good for us. We've said it. And today, we are described as highly distressed country.
We are not.
Oh, it is there.
We are not.
It is. We are highly distressed country. Go and listen to them.
The subject of